إن الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون يا أيها المؤمنين والمؤمنات اليوم يوم الجمعة جمعة مبارك وهذا ساعة مبارك ساعة مباركة في هذه الساعة يجمع ملائكة لذكر الله ويجمع المؤمنين والمؤمنات لذكر الله. Dear brothers and sisters, this is the day of Jumma and this is the Mubarak, the blessed Sa'a, in which there is the gathering of the angels and the gathering of the believers. The day of Jumma, which comes every 7 days, as you know, and this particular Sa'a, this particular hour, or half an hour or the 20 minutes that we devote to the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has a special purpose. And that purpose is to revive the dead hearts, to revive the sleeping hearts, to energize ourselves for the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the khutbah today is on this ayah, and one word in this ayah, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Don't be like those who have forgotten Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah made them forget themselves. What does it mean? What does it mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes people forget themselves? And the description of those people is that they are fasiqun. What does fisk mean? So inshallah we want to understand this situation because it applies to us. It applies to us because all of us who are in this dunya right now are dealing with a trade. We are in a commerce. Whether we like it or not, we actually are trading something. And what we are trading is a fixed amount of time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us when we arrived in this dunya. It's totally fixed and we all believe in that. So some of the ulama gave the example of a block of ice in a hot summer day. The block of ice in a hot summer day that is continuously melting. And the person who is selling ice, those children are children who grew up here, they probably don't understand this metaphor. But you can see this. There used to be a trader who would sell ice before the days of fridges. They would sell ice. Ice would be made in the ice machine in the factories, and the trader would bring a block of ice and start selling ice by breaking small pieces of it. 1 kilo or 2 kilo or 3 kilo. Customers would come. But the trader of ice is dealing with the temperature that is on a hot summer day. His ice is melting continuously whether customers come or not. So he's racing against time to sell the ice to the customers before it turns into water, after which it won't be of any use for his tijara, for his business. So the metaphor that the ulama gave us about this time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to each one of us is like this block of ice that is continuously melting whether we are using it or not. And those who don't use it, their life is going. And those who use, they are converting it into something like the trader, the businessman who is selling the ice to make money for his family. He is converting that block of ice into money with which he can buy bread and butter for his family. And the person who is just sitting idle, his ice is also melting and he is not getting anything out of it. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. So those who have forgotten Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their ice is also melting. The block of ice is melting, the time is going day after day. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, he gave a khutbah to people, and this is reported in Al-Tabarani with very jayyad isnad. Ibn Qasir rahimahullah, he says that this event that he narrates in the tafsir of this ayah, he says that all the people in this narration are thiqat, they are trustworthy people. So the khutbah that Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq gave on this particular ayah, he started off by saying, "O people, do you know where are your brothers and sisters who used to be with you? أَمَا تَعْلَمُونَ أَنَّكُمْ تَغْدُونَ وَتَرَوْحَوْنَ لِأَجَلٍ مَعْلُومٍ فَمَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ أَنْ يَقْضِيَ الْأَجَلَ وَهُوَ فِي أَمَلِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ." So he said that where are those people now? Their ice is gone. He didn't use the metaphor ice, but their time is gone. They are gone. أَيْنَ الْجَبَّارُونَ. Where are those people who used to be so strong on this earth? Where have they gone? What did they do with their time? People come and people go. The kingdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remains. So our understanding of our life, this little block of ice that is in between the flow of time, because generations have come and generations have gone. And we believe and we see this, that people come and people go. As Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, he said, "Ayn al-Jabbarun, where are you?" And he said, "Where are your friends?" They're all gone. We are going to go. But what is it that we are going to take with us? So the tijara that we are doing is not going to an office, going to a job, going to a business, but the real tijara, the real commerce, the real trade a believer does is the conversion of this block of time, this block of ice that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given into something. What is that something that we can take with us? And why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that those who have forgotten me, I have made them forget themselves? وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. Fasiqun, those who do fisk. Fasaka is to go out. Linguistically, fasaka is to go out, the going out of one thing from another thing. Fasaka. So those who leave something in a bad way, they are fasiqs. And fisk is of several kinds. A kafir, a disbeliever, is also a fasiq. That is called fisk al-kufr. The fisk, the going out as a disbeliever, meaning that person who has left what was imprinted on the fitrah when the person was born. Because the greatest imprint on the child is that of the awareness, the consciousness, the built-in imprint of the Creator. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates every single child on fitrah, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, kullu mawludun yulidul ala fitrah. Every child is born upon fitra, and the part of fitra that is the strongest and the most fundamental is the consciousness of the unique one single creator. So fiscal kufr is to go out of the bounds that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created. So any boundary from which one goes out is fisk. So how does that relate? How does that relate to forgetting ourselves? And how does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us forget ourselves? Ibn Kathir rahimahullah in the tafsir of this ayah, he says that one way of making us forget is to forget the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our deeds. So when we forget the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a black dot starts to come on the heart. And that black dot, if it continues to increase, slowly covers the entirety of the heart. Hatta, as the Prophet ﷺ says, side or qulubul isnain, there are two kinds of hearts that becomes into two kinds of hearts. Either a black heart or a white heart. The black heart is then covered with ghafla, with forgetfulness. Now, ghafla is a temporary state. It's not khatam yet, it's not sealed yet. And in one way or the other, all of us in a state of ghafla. Because we are living at a time so removed from the wholesomeness that used to be there. And we cannot change that. We cannot change the world for our children. We cannot remove the gadgets that have been invented and that are in every house. We cannot change the defragmentation that has taken place over time. So what is the corrective way? What is the corrective for this ghafla, for this forgetfulness? Before the seal is placed on the heart and the heart becomes unaware of the ghafla. You see, if somebody is not even aware that he has forgotten himself, if somebody is asleep and doesn't know, and that's why I said all of us are in a way in a state of ghafla, because the Prophet ﷺ told us we are in a sleep. We wake up when we die. What is it? And how to do it? How do we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that our tijara, our commerce, is not the one who is selling the block of ice, who's trading in the block of ice, but who has no customers, but the sun is shining and the ice is melting. We want to convert this time into something. What are the ways and means to do it? First and foremost is the awareness of the human condition that we are in. That all of us are enclosed in a state of ghafla because of the times we live in, because of our own sins, because of our own habits, because of wherever we are. That awareness, and inshallah those who come and pray and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during at least part of the day, their hearts are not sealed. It's like take the little eraser and say, okay, one single dot, 2 dots, 10 dots, 50 dots, but still I am aware that I'm in this state. What are the ways of doing it? Number one, please set aside a time in your day. 24 hours is a long period of time. Can you give 10 minutes of that 24 hours, 15 minutes of that 24 hours to one single thing? That is to hold the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is a rope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down. This is the tafsir of Hablullah. The rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the tafsir of that, the predominant tafsir of that, in the opinion of Ibn Abbas, Ibn al-Tabri quotes it, is the rope, is the Quran. This rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Quran. The one end of the Quran is in the heavens and the other end of this rope is in this dunya. Can we hold on to it? Can we say from tomorrow, I'm going to have 10 minutes when I hold the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala physically, not in a gadget or something, because this book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they put it between the fatain, between the two covers, it became a material thing that has a quality of its own. There is absolutely no other book in this whole world among millions and trillions of books that has this unique characteristic of this book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it contains the last and the final speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that was preserved through an unprecedented way. There is absolutely no other way, no other book in this dunya that can be compared to this book. To hold such a book in your hand, that itself is an honor. Hold the book in your hand 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, and do something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed. Because tijara, trade that we are doing, this is a very unique word in the Quran also. Tajimra, the root tajimra has a single word. There is no other word that starts with ta and jim in the Quran except for tijara. And this tijara has 6 aspects in the Quran. And one of them applies to this remembrance and to this way that I am going to suggest to you, inshallah, in the second khutbah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. الحمد لله الذي ينزل الكتاب ولم يجعله وجا. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولك الكريم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. The six ways in which the Quran mentions tijara. The first, Al-Firozabadi, in his basair, in his insights into the vocabulary of the Quran, mentions these 6 ways. And he says the first one is the tijara of Ghuzatul Mujahideen bi ruhi wal nafsi wal ma'al. This is the striving of the warriors in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who strive with their mal, with their soul and with their own selves. And he says that this is the verse that mentions this kind of tijara. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu hal adullakum ala tijaratin tunjikum min adab. The one that saves you from the fire, from the punishment. Number 2 is the tijara of the munafiqun. Ulaika allazina ishtaraw dalala bil huda. They have bought ad-dalala, misguidance, going astray, with guidance. The third, I need to be very quick. The third is the one that I wanted to mention. I may not be able to finish all 6, but the third is the one. This is, he says, the tijara with the qira'atul Quran, the trading with the recitation of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the proof is in الَّذِينَ يَتْلُونَ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَنفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ سِرًّا وَعَلَانِيَةً يَرْجُونَ تِجَارَةً لَن تَبُورَ. Those who recite the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what follows, وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَنفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ سِرًّا وَعَلَانِيَةً. These come once you start reciting the Quran, everything else follows. Let me quickly finish with the other 3, inshallah. The fourth kind is the tijara ibadud dunya. The tijara, the trade that the slaves of dunya do. Tijara Ibadud Dunya. And this is Surah Al-Jumma. Remember the day when the Prophet ﷺ was standing on the mimbar giving the khutbah, and the caravan, the trade caravan came, and some of the people left to do the trade. And the ayah, the last ayah, in Surah Ayah 11 came, وَإِذَا رَأَوْا تِجَارَةً, when they see the tijara and they leave you standing, you don't want to be them. The fifth is the tijara fi ma'amalatul khalq bil bay wa shira, yani the trade that people do among themselves. And this is the trade that is mentioned as an exception. This tijara is mentioned as an exception to writing down the trading that is happening, because this is quick tijara. This is happening right on the... And the last, and this is the one we want to aspire to be, inshallah. And the last of it is tijaratul khawasul ibad. The trade of the chosen, selected, the elect. What is that they are doing? This is what we want to do. Of course, everybody wants to be the best, right? The best of trade is the trade of the khawas. Those, and the Quran uses the word rijal for them, but it also applies to the sisters. Rijalun la talhihim tijaratun wala bayun an zikrillah. Those men, and in this case, rijal here stands for the believers. La talhihim tijaratun wala bayun an zikrillah. It doesn't distract them from the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It doesn't distract them. So the zikr that we want to, the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we want to have in our hearts, is the zikr, is the remembrance that doesn't go away when we walk out of our home to go to our office. It doesn't go away when we are doing this trade with dirhams and dinars and dollars and cents. It doesn't go away when we are talking to people. That is a hard one. To have that consciousness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us. Inna Allah ma'akum aina ma kuntum. He is always with us. He is always with you. That awareness, that consciousness, how can we get that? If we could get that, then the ice block that is melting for us is not going to go to waste. It's not going to turn into a tijara of khasara. It's not a lost trade. There is gain in it. And that gain is the supreme success. So please think about it. Think about it. If we could have 10 minutes as a start with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, its recitation, its understanding, its interiorization, its impact on the heart that gathers the fragments of the heart into one whole, that makes us a wholesome person, a person who walks and talks and deals with human beings, not as a fragmentary inner self, but who is concentrated, who knows that every single transaction that is happening in this life, this short life, has a consequence, who is aware of the credit and the loss that is happening in the real world, not in this world that is coming and going, but the real book that each one of us the book is being written. We are going to receive it. We believe in it. What is it that is being written on it? That is our struggle, brothers and sisters. That is our real struggle in this little time that has been allotted to us. And it is really little. It is really little. This block of ice is not going to last. The sun is shining and the ice is melting. The time is dissolving and time is fragmenting. We live at a place at a time which is part and parcel of the time that has gone by. That's how we connect. That's how we connect with previous generations, people who reflected on the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the companions who gathered it between two covers, so that we won't forget the transmission that has taken place of this book is an enormous effort. And those who did it, they traded their time, they traded their lives in that process of reflecting on the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, teaching it to their children, explaining the meanings of what has been said. The person who thought about this root, Tajimra, and said, this is the only word in the Quran. Tijara is the only word in the Quran that comes in this root. And the other person came and he said, there are 6 ways in which this tijara is mentioned. Which one would you like to choose? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the ability to really hold on to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and clear our hearts. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار يا الله أنت حليم كريم عظيم تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا كريم فاعف عنا ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لا تكونن من الخاسرين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وأقيم الصلاة